Here we go. Okay, there's our theme song. Until we get sued by Snoop Dogg. It's the badass Brandon Blab with Andrea Dre Beltrami and me, Lou.
You can't hear it on this side.
You can't hear it?
No.
Hold on.
There we go.
There you go.
It's old Snoop Dogg.
Hold on. All right, enough of. Wait, I can still hear the music, so that's not good. All right, welcome. This is our premiere, our first show, our first Blab. I'm Lou. That's Dre. I don't know which way to point because I don't know where you are in the squares. Dre, tell us a little about yourself, if you would. I'll tell something about her. She's crazy. She's fun. She's an amazing branding person and branding expert. And you have burst on the scene since I met you a year or so ago.
I know. I hadn't even launched the branded solopreneur.
Really?
No, remember?
So here's the deal. I did this Creative Live thing last year in San Fran, and Dre was kind enough to be in the audience, and she was just really quiet, sitting in the back, wasn't saying anything. It was a 3-day event, so she had to show up every day and be in the audience and listen to me drone on. And I'm like, who is that tall chick in the back? She's not saying much. So then the last day, I don't know what the hell happened, but you just let loose, and all of a sudden it was the Dre comedy show hour. And then the real Dre came out to play.
I know, but I told you that's why this is so huge, because a year ago today, I was sitting there telling Lou, there's no way. I can't do a video. I can't do it. I'm terrified. I said, even knowing that the audience cam might come on me, I was just like a deer in headlights. And then the last day, I woke up 2 hours late, came with my curly hair, got drunk, and was like, what up?
Yeah, that was fun. So that's how we connected back in the day. And now we came back here to do this little Blabola thing, and really just to kind of, get our drink on and get our brand on and talk branding and talk to you guys about questions you may have about branding, have a little fun, do a couple goofy segments. So one of the things I wanted to talk about first, Dre, if you don't mind, and it's a little bit old news, but not really, is this whole thing with the Starbucks red cups. And from a branding standpoint, do you think that they handled the backlash well? Was it like a good thing, or was it a bad thing? Does everybody hate Starbucks now? It's not like I'm not going to drink Starbucks because they have a friggin' red cup.
Exactly. I think it worked for them because we're all talking about it. I mean, at the bottom line, they got out so much exposure from it. And I don't really think that many people are going to boycott it, to be honest. I mean, there's always going to be hype and backlash from big things like that. But it's like anything else. I think if you're not pushing the envelope, you're not really doing enough. And Starbucks been comfy and it's making billions. Like a red cup, red cup gate is not going to, it's not going to do shit to their bottom line. If anything, they got more exposure out of it. So good for them.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Branding wise, yeah. And I think, they must have loved it, all that. How can when something like that makes it on the news and you think, why the hell are we talking about cups? It took like all the terrible stuff that happened in France to knock Starbucks off the front page.
Yeah.
Come on.
Amen. It was like the dress color last year. It's like everybody's going to weigh in, but at the end of the day, the exposure is like right into the bank. You can't pay for that. They couldn't do a campaign. They couldn't hire an agency and get that much exposure out of any campaign. Planning to do it. Like this is real viral shit. This is what real viral looks like.
Yep. So, and that always happens around the holidays, because people are way too politically correct and you can't say the MC word, the Merry Christmas word, without getting in trouble.
Right.
So
it's the holidays.
That's crazy. I like, the guy like Drunk Uncle on Saturday Night Live. Have you ever seen him when he just like goes off? Like, Merry Christmas, my ass. So, yeah. So don't get too politically correct. Don't water down your brand. I think Starbucks should just embrace the thing and say, hey, you know what? It is what it is. Here's our red cup.
Exactly.
Drink your damn coffee and be quiet and give us our $4 for our coffee.
Right. I mean, will we be talking to them if they just release their pumpkin spice latte? Would we give a shit?
No.
Right.
So,
So I say go for it. I fist bump Starbucks. I think that was a branding win.
yep. So what about brand or bland? That's what we like to call this segment, brand or bland. One of the interesting things, I don't usually like to talk politics because we'll probably get all kinds of crazy shit going on here, and we'll look at the comments and pull something in too. But what do you think about, I don't get too political, but don't you think it's kind of ironic that the two people that are getting the most press and that probably have the biggest brands on the Republican side are the ones that are not politicians? Crazy, huh?
Amen. Absolutely. And I don't know that everybody in politics is, especially the newbies, the last, funded, really truly understand what that does, especially in this day and age of social media and online. The teams that understand that are just automatically going to get more exposure, even, with all the regulations and rules of broadcasting and that sort of stuff. When there's a will, there's a way. We can all talk about you and create the buzz offline, but they need the agencies just like any small business. And I don't know if all politicians get that.
Yep. So, but it's kind of funny because I think, obviously Trump has a brand, like him or hate him. And it's almost as if, Ben Carson has to out crazy Trump to get in the news. So he's, the more crazy shit he says, the higher up in the polls he goes.
But I think brands do that all the time, right? We see someone out there killing it. They're a little controversial or they're a little this or that. And then we try to model that, but it's not authentic to us, so it doesn't get taken. Like Trump doesn't try. He is who he is, which depending who you are, he's a douchebag. But he doesn't need to try. That's the rep he has. That's the shit. We count on him opening his mouth and running it about everything because he thinks he knows. But nobody else can do that. You can't just step in and then take him toe to toe with the same approach. If you're gonna take him on with your own shit and battle it.
Yep. But it is interesting because, that the branding has really seeped into the world of politics. And, there's still like a year to go before the election and everybody's going, batshit crazy over all this stuff. So,
well, when Obama got elected, holy crap. I mean, people were teaching branding based on what he did because he was really the first president that embraced social media and went for the younger demographic and, was tweeting and doing landing pages. I mean, back then, I was still learning all this internet marketing stuff, and everybody was talking about Obama's campaigns and Obama's branding and Obama's, marketing. He really kind of started that. Like, despite what you think about him, that was the first time in our history that they really understood to use all the tools we have online. And he crushed it.
Yeah, it's funny because I read somewhere recently that the biggest email that the Obama campaign sent out way back when, the subject line was, "Hey."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They were breaking it down to his subject lines. Totally. Yeah. And it's like, so what's the lesson though? We can write an email that says, "Hey," and we're going to get 90% open rates. Like,
I guess it depends who it's from.
Go from side to side,
Yeah. So the Common Great says the entire Republican Party has had a branding or lack thereof problem for years. Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, all politics is so screwed up as it is, but definitely somebody's got to get on top of that branding stuff. And I think, if nothing else, all the crazy Trump, Ben Carson stuff has made it a little bit more interesting for the news, because otherwise politics would be terribly boring, but they're making it kind of interesting and fun just because they're saying so many crazy things.
Well, it's nice to have a little bit of a change than the typical just bash campaigns, commercials. So old, so 90s.
Dr. Carson is like, I tried to stab somebody. It's like, well, since when is that a good thing? No, really, I tried to stab somebody.
He's a fool.
So, anyway, so what else you want to talk about, Dre, or anybody in chat?
Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
You can jump in. You can talk branding. You can talk Starbucks, which as anchoring point GFX says, it's Starbucks. People are going to drink it anyway. Dunkin' Donuts has a new cup and nobody gives a shit.
Exactly. They should come up with their shit brown cup. Maybe do something weird with that.
Yes.
I'm surprised no one else has. This is what needs to happen, is that now people need to do parodies of the red cup. That's what I want to see.
Politically correct white cup that, like, nobody can. But wait, it's white. It probably has satanic messages in it somewhere.
Yeah, so. Can you imagine if they did they went color for race? Holy moly. Holy moly.
Yes, you don't want to go there. So, but that's it. We've just gotten too politically correct and almost too sensitive. So
well, and so let's talk about that in our branding and and in our voice and the authenticity. I mean, you and I alone, right? We have different voices, different personalities, and you have to infuse that in. So what do you think? Like, what was the best way that you kind of got in touch with yours? Because I know you came from a Hollywood background, and then you started doing editing. Like, did it take you a long time? Because I don't think people know. You and I really connected at Creative Live because you were telling me how scared you are, or nervous you are to be on camera. But that's what you're known for.
Well, the reason it kind of became part of my brand is as a defense mechanism for being on camera. I was like, okay, I'm just going to have a drink and get goofy, or I'm going to wear a wig, or, put on my ridiculous glasses and then, just try and do something that's just, okay, I'm shy, I'm introverted, so I'm going to have to create something else to do it. And it kind of became, when are you doing another one of those goofy videos in costume again,
Yeah.
And I know, even though you are more outgoing, you didn't like being on camera either, right?
No, I was terrified. I mean, literally terrified. I couldn't even get on here. Like, after Creative Live wrapped, they wanted us to do testimonials for you. I had to have like 6 glasses of wine. And then the guys are still like, they had to just talk me through it. It's terrible. But here's what we both done, and it's worked really well. And I think when everybody does it, works well. Own your shit, right? So you came out saying that I'm really nervous about video and owning it and doing things that made you feel comfortable. And same thing with me. I've done it on the video side and the writing side. I call myself out on a lot. And I think as a brand, it's A, refreshing, but B, nobody can really hate you on the shit you're already owning, right? So there's a lot of this like hype about haters and people that are going to tear you down or hate you on social media and whatever, who cares? When you own something, what do they say? They just look like a douchebag. So you're telling me what I just said. Like, I'm not a good writer. I'm really nervous on camera, so I do these funny skits. Like, it's inconsequential for them to call you out. And it's been easier for me to push the envelope doing that. And I think same with you, because you don't do as many of the silly videos anymore. You do a lot of hardcore training videos.
Yep. So that's the thing, too, is like, especially if you're trying to develop an online brand, it can be really difficult, especially if you're not a brick and mortar business and you've got all your presence is online, because everything you do feeds into that. So if you post one way on Facebook, like you're the sweetie, heart-centered whatever, and then you go on Blab and you're over the top and crazy, that's not going to jive. So it's got to, everything you do online has to build into that brand. So it's not easy, because especially as entrepreneurs that have ADHD, most of us, we don't always want to do the same thing or talk the same talk. But you've done a really good job of kind of, building that brand and that image in your languaging and your all the e-zines and all the stuff that I see from you. You can say that's Dre, because you've got the same look, the same attitude. So that's pretty cool. That's what you got to do. You just got to be really consistent, and you got to be repetitive. And repetitive may sound boring to you, but to everybody else, you're just, that you're just being honest with your brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trust builder, right? Because if somebody is always coming with a different approach, you're kind of like, I mean, I do have split personalities, but they're pretty much still all on the same page. But I'll tell you, because I had brands before the Brand and Soul Opener that were just failures for whatever various reasons. But one of the biggest one was like, I was trying to mimic people and the voice was lost. I was just terrified from, issues in my corporate days with, being too sassy for the stuffy executives. But I'll tell you, what's helped me in the last year really crush it with the Brand and Soul Opener is that I was just myself. It's a lot easier to be consistent and to be on when you're just being you. And and it's funny because I get people all the time that email me and say, I wasn't really sure about you at the beginning. I felt like you were trying too hard. So, yeah, well, this is just actually me. This
Hmm.
crazy, sassy, trucker mouth, like sort of all over the place, like insecure yet super confident. Like that's really me.
Hmm.
But if I kept changing, if I came out with the, welcome email sassy and then I got really sugary and then it wouldn't. But that
Hmm.
tells me that I'm doing it right because people aren't really sold at the beginning. But the fact that I stay consistent and I stay who I am and I'm unapologetic about it, it helps them understand that this is me. So you can still take it or leave it, but you don't have to wonder.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's not easy. So it's like that's the cool thing, though, is like, look, if you just yourself, then you don't have to forget, okay, what am I acting like this time? Or, just
Right.
be you. Maybe you have to be more of you. Like there are certain times if you're speaking in public or doing something like that, you might have to amp it up a little bit, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean you have to turn into Gary Vaynerchuk and just be a raging lunatic.
No.
So Linda has a question. Dre, you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, so can you address choosing colors for the branding? Can it change with the seasonal color trends or should it fix? Perfect
Hmm,
question.
good
The
question.
short answer is never change it. I don't give a shit what season it is. The long question is that you need to develop a branding color palette. And that color palette should be about 5 to 6 colors. And not only should you define a color palette, but you should define how each color in your palette's used.
Hmm.
So, for instance, you should have one color that's for, I call it your action color. That would be all your buttons and links and anything that's clickable. In other words, anything you can take action. You should have one iconic brand color. So
Hmm.
mine would be the gold loses the blue. Something that's always attached to the brand. Then you need a couple accent colors. But everything has to stay consistent. So across your images, videos, website, social covers, you want a color palette that's got 5 to 6 colors, and that's the only color you're allowed to use. To be
Hmm.
honest, that's it. It has inconsequential to season, to project, to what kind of content. It doesn't change because you're doing video. It doesn't change from your video to your images. That's really what branding is about. It's consistency. Above all else, it's consistency.
Which is really hard because, like I said, as somebody with the attention span of a gnat, I'm always on to the next thing. I've had like 17 different logos, and then people like Dre have to hit me over the head and say, "Just pick a goddamn logo and go with it, will you?" Because you're confusing people. You're throwing too much at them.
Yeah,
You might think, "Oh, I'm sick of that logo. I've been looking at it for 3 years." It's like, well, that's probably just about when it's starting to kick in with people. So don't be all over the map. Don't
exactly.
be
And I
this
think
way.
especially for us creatives, like, oh, we're all over the place. I love
Hmm.
this font. I know I like that font. And
Hmm.
that's great. Make an invitation for your birthday next year and use that font. In your branding, just stay consistent. I mean, like you said, that's how people are going to be able to build brand recognition with you. They're not bored. They need that. Every time you change things around, you're diluting your brand.
Hmm.
That's it. You're making it harder for your peeps to find you. You're making it harder to stand out online.
Hmm. Because I still do a little bit of writing and copywriting, but you won't hear me say that online
Right.
because I do video marketing, and people like you do copywriting. It's like, yeah, yes, but that's not what I project because that's just going to water down the brand.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think a
you
lot
have way
of
more
yeah,
props than me, and I'm getting really jealous now because you have like 143 hand props, which are
give
those hand things.
some
So
love to Lou. You guys are
click me some hands, guys.
it's the drunk. I'm telling you, people like the boozy. Oh, look.
Thanks. It's
So
because
you
I
had
didn't
to
bring.
beg for You're such a
I know.
hustler.
Isn't that like I'm, pimping my hand things?
I
But we're
know.
gonna
And
do.
we have those signs that they stand on the corner.
I
Like
know.
we'll get drunker for props.
I have an Instagram sign. I'll write something on the back of it, I guess.
Yeah, and this is an Instagram. So branding,
Mhm.
fail, get the blab.
Really, the Blab sign. So we're gonna do before we wrap up. We're gonna do our Blab bling, which is like where we can tell people where to get free shit from us. But we should also see if anybody wants to
Yeah,
jump
I was
into
gonna
the
say, let's see
seat.
if anyone wants to jump on. If you do,
Talk anything. Brand.
just come say what's
Um,
up. Don't be shy.
yeah, it's easy. Um, Somebody says, "Can I tweet this with the Yes.
Hell yeah. I want to see
Yeah.
that. Create a
Yeah.
GIF, Mr.
Yeah.
Michael. Who knows what it's going to be, but I give you permission.
Yes. Thank you guys for your comments. And again, feel free to jump in. You can talk about political correctness in branding. You can talk about Starbucks. You can talk about anything to do with your brand, any questions you might have. I'm like the marketing person, and Dre is the branding genius. So
I know you
that's
have
why,
way more marketing chops than I
yeah,
do.
but that's why I wanted to bring you in, because you've been able to totally nail the brand stuff, which is great. And you've also done it for some of our mutual friends. And it's cool because I notice I'll say, oh, you did the branding for so-and-so, huh? Because I noticed they've been a lot more consistent lately. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I have a specialty of putting the smack down with the best intentioned tough love. And
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely got some of our homies, like Denise Wakeman is like my
Mm-hmm.
all-star. I mean, she is just a rock star on the brand. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she already had everything. She just didn't have that signature style. And
Yep.
I'm so proud of her. She's just crushing it. And she's
Mm-hmm.
such a perfect example of how it changes. She had a very successful business. She has tons of clients.
Yep.
It just that little branding package alone,
Mm-hmm.
it changed the game even more for her.
Yeah, and I've known her for years and years, and she's wicked smart, as we say in Boston. But a lot of times we're too close to it. We're
Mhm.
in our business. We're like I have trouble doing video marketing for myself because I'm just too far inside it. So sometimes you just need that little extra outside influence, or that little Dre magic to push you over the edge.
Definitely. Someday I'm gonna
Um,
let you get a whole. I'm gonna make you let me just get some little tiny hands on your branding.
all right.
Just little tiny.
No,
Someday.
I definitely, because the other problem that I have from a branding standpoint, I see a question from Linda that we'll get to in a sec, um, is that if you go and you do a lot of different web pages, like I do, like I'll do a promotion, and I'm not going to change my whole website, but I'll do a lead page. So I'm using a lead page template. So now it's like, all right, I'm kind of getting away from my brand. I'm using this template. So I struggle with that. I mean, I guess what can you do with that is just try and customize the template to your colors or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I use lead pages, and it does get tough because the templates are pretty canned. But the two things that you can do is fonts and color palette. So they
Mm-hmm.
may not have your exact font, but if you have a sans serif font or if you have a bubbly, femme font, they have enough variety there that you can stay pretty consistent. And then
Mm-hmm.
color palette, again, like if you have an action color, your button should always be that color, no matter what page, whether it's a sales page, opt-in page, blog post to subscribe. Keep the consistency in the little elements. It seems sort of basic, but what you're going for is creating the seamless transition between your real estate, which would be your website, and then these
Mm-hmm.
these outward pages, these attached sales pages or landing pages, or even the stuff on social media.
Yep.
But if you just do that, just those two items, colors and text, they're going to at least know this is blue, because your blues are
Mm-hmm.
very iconic with you, and your fonts are very iconic. So
Mm-hmm.
just use that.
Yep. Yep. And then the other problem is, which is a double-edged sword, because I love Canva.com,
Mm-hmm,
because now I don't need Photoshop and I don't necessarily need a designer.
mm-hmm.
But that can also be kind of dangerous, because if it's so easy to create social media posts or YouTube headers or whatever, you can just go wild and lose your brand.
Well, that's the thing. We're not going to get on the Canva rant today, because I really do love Canva. But people's thought that because they have the ability to do it means that they're doing it well. Two
Mm-hmm.
separate things. And Canva confuses people sometimes and makes them believe that they have the design skills. You still, whether you're using PowerPoint, Photoshop, or Canva, still need to have shit together,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yep.
and here's the second thing on Canva is that they have great templates, and I know it makes you feel like this is going to be a cohesive design, but think about the other 2 million people that are using that template. You're not
Yeah.
standing out, because it
Right.
looks, I've seen the same templates across blog images, like 10 different blogs, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not really doing you a ton of service. because it looks like everybody's blog image. So even using Canva, you want to use your font theme, you want to use your color palette and your decorative elements, not their canned templates.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. Speaking of PowerPoint, Linda has a question. Do you see video merging with PowerPoint? Yes, because PowerPoint is getting so fancy with all their animations and transitions that really, if you have a PowerPoint with transitions between the slides, you have a video. So it's kind of the same thing. And
that's all I make my videos on. That's all I use.
And the other cool thing about PowerPoint is it gives you the ability to do off-camera videos. So if you don't want to be on camera or if you have a lot of information to share. I mean, I kind of wish Blab had that thing where you could show a screenshot or show a PowerPoint slide. And
I have a feeling they're going to work into that. I have a feeling that that's going to be something that they add, whether maybe that's a paid version or something. But I feel like that and Scopes, they really do need to add the ability for us to share a screen.
Yeah, but if you can do PowerPoint, you can do video. I say it all the time, and it's, PowerPoint, you add a couple fancy transitions in there, you use a nice font, that's brand appropriate, and you're good to go. That's another place where I get easily distracted because I love fancy PowerPoint templates that I get like on graphicriver.net. I just go crazy with.
No. One template, and then, okay, here's the other thing about branding. Changing everything every time makes it take 9 times longer. If you have a template, say for a PowerPoint video, all you do is swap out the bullet points or swap out the headline, the text, you got the animations already in there, you got the transitions in there. It takes 10 minutes. My mini courses take me maybe 2 hours to put together. That's to set up the webinar, to create the PowerPoint, to create all the images. Why? Because I'm consistent and because I have templates.
Yeah, I'm going to have Dre record a line for me. And she's going to say, "Stay on brand, bitch." And I'm going to play that back to myself every time.
Oh, yes. Dude, let's do it. That's perfect. I want to use that.
That's your new thing. Stay on brand, bitch. So Anne says she'd like to try and join. She's not sure if a tablet is okay quality-wise. Give it a shot.
Yeah, jump on.
I don't think we don't have the seat
we look
locked,
polished
right?
up? So. No, I'm wearing pajama bottoms and I'm drunk.
All right, here we go. So I think Billy Enza here is going to try and come in. We'll see if it works. If not, it's all right. We're all,
Yeah, this is the first time anyway. We're learning as we go, guys. So don't even worry about it. Jump on.
Bill says, don't things like Canva actually help you maintain your brand if you keep the brand and edit the message du jour? I think, yeah, like Dre says, if you have a template, and Dre, maybe you've seen like there is a paid version of Canva now that they just socked me with that will kind of, you tell them your colors and your fonts and they'll kind of, keep you in line in terms of branding. So now I'm getting all kinds of brand stuff in Canva because it does have my blues and it does have my fonts. So I'm a little less dangerous with it now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not hating on Canva. That's what I said. I love Canva. I don't believe that any branding goodness or anything comes from the tool. It's whatever tool you're comfortable with. So Canva's great. If you're comfortable with Canva, you can do exactly what you could do in Illustrator as far as establishing your brand and creating a template. So by all means, Canva's great. My message is keep on brand, bitch.
Ann, how you doing?
What's up, girl?
You're on a tablet, so your connection might be a little wonky, but we see you.
Can you hear us?
She's frozen in time. We'll give it a minute.
And always freezes on the not so hot look. Like I get frozen.
The YouTube thumbnail curse.
Yes.
Like, you get every time you can do custom thumbnails, but
it
usually my YouTube thumbnails are like.
Yeah, that's what mine are.
I can sort of hear you. I can sort of hear you, Ann.
Come on.
But we'll see if the connection. You might have to have a.
Yeah. Are you on Wi-Fi? It might be.
Wi-Fi can be a little.
Am I there?
I think we're pushing the limits of the technology.
No. Yeah, I cannot understand anything you're saying, sweetie.
Oh, sorry. We'll come back next week though when you have a good connection.
Absolutely.
Anybody else want to pop in?
Bill saying, "Wait till he sees the Blab gift." Should I be afraid? Should I be scared?
Blab
Is it both of us, Bill, or just one of us?
Do it to Dre. She's young and she can take the criticism.
Oh, I love it. Like, I'm that girl that when you make fun of me, I love you. When you post shit of me looking fucked up, I'm like, oh, you love me. Nice? Like, what do you think I post that picture? We had like 8 pictures at Creative Live where we all look nice. Like, oh.
I know that one. You look like you.
Fuck that. Wow, I want the weird face looking one. That's real.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, anybody else want to pop in before we wrap up? We try and keep these to a half hour or so. So we'll start to wrap up, but we got to do our freebies. Anybody else want to do a shameless self-promotion? Oh, look, that's not bad, Mr. Michael.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I mean, it's got, the grill shot. We got extra gummy. Yeah, we have a gummy smile. Right. That would have been a good one right there, where we both just did that face at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need that. We need to get that screen capture.
Do you have any cool freebies in the Blab bag, the grab bag, the Blab bling that you want to tell folks to go to? Can you put a little link in the thingy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would probably be good. Mine. I will put that in when you're talking. You guys should grab the Quick and Dirty Guide to Branding for Solopreneurs. It goes through all the consistency and all the branding guidelines you need, which is, the color palette, font theme, all the things that we talked about today, image templates. So you can grab that. I'll put the link in just a sec, but you can grab that at thebrandedsolopreneur.com/badass.
Badass. Nice. All right. I'm going to do my video survival kit, which is at bortone.com/kit. And you can go there and get a freebie, a couple of video tutorials and checklists and good things like that. What happens if I take my headphones out?
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay, shit. Hold on a second.
And I would like everyone to notice that I have 100 even more props. So if you guys could push me up to 200 just so I can rub it in. Oh, look at that.
Look, you got double my props. That's why, I got it. When I do this Blab thing, I got to do it with a pretty chick because I'm not going to get enough props. I'm
just a pretty face. He's a smart fucker.
Yeah. Well, but you still do the, stay on brand bitch. So that's,
I need to get a shirt that says that and then sit up a little more straight like Brandon, bitch.
Yes. So yeah, that's what we're doing every week. We'll talk branding, marketing, all that good stuff. Maybe have a couple drinks. Next time I'll make sure I have my alcohol ready. I was just kind of scrambling at the last minute here, so I wasn't quite there. And then you guys can jump in anytime with questions. You can be on. Apparently, if you're on a tablet with Wi-Fi, like poor Ann, you may not make it on, but next time we'll definitely have some guest thingies.
Yeah, and if you guys have any suggestions for us on silly, stupid shit to do, any questions, any segments, like consider us the dancing monkeys of the branding world. We want to make
monkey with the symbols.
Yes, we want to make this fun, like the title says, branding and biz with none of the bullshit. So we're here to have a great time. We're all ears if you have suggestions.
And next week I'm going to come dressed as Dre. I'm going to come dressed as you, and you can come dressed as me.
Oh my God, we should totally do that.
Yeah, so that way I'll be able to curse and be a wise ass and a badass. And
I'm gonna get a fake Emmy, and I'm gonna be really drunk.
That's my dad's Emmy. I put it back there because it's my authority bling. So
is that what it is?
It's my dad's, even though it's not mine. But and Walter wants us to do tequila shots next week. Yeah, we could probably do that.
I say let's look at Walter's. How did he do that? Oh, you did that?
You put a question in here. You can put it on this.
Oh, I'm learning. But yeah. I say we make a drinking game out of something at some point. So if you guys have some suggestions on that.
Yeah, that sounds good. So like every time Dre says brand, you have to do a shot or something like that.
Oh, or fuck. Fuck's probably. I might say that word more.
That's possible. So, all right. So push my users. Let's see. What does he have to say? They made an API that wants to send push notifications. So that's at pushmy.events. So that's a shameless plug for Push My Users. And that's cool. We like shameless plugs.
Yeah, we all have to plug ourselves to get somewhere. So
yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this crazy thing up.
I do do
review?
reviews. She's asking if I do brand
Are you
reviews.
nice or are you like wicked? Are you mean?
Who?
When you do brand reviews, are you nice?
I'm tough loving,
Honest?
which I think
Okay.
is nice. Sugarcoating shit is not doing you any service. So I'm very straightforward about what I think are the issues, but I do it in honestly all love because I just want you to succeed. So I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass because that ain't going to get you anywhere. But that's my style. So I'm definitely not for everybody.
Yep. So if you want the straight talk and no bullshit, Dre will give it to you.
Yeah, you can email me at andrea@thebrandedsoulopener.com if you want more information on the brand review. Otherwise, thanks, guys. This was so much fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again next week.
Yep.
So I'm going to go off the recording and stay on for a